Good day, everyone. Welcome back to our regional and international destinations class. So, today we'll specifically look at destinations, right? What they are, and also look at the tourist area life cycle and factors, and also look at the factors that influence a destination, more especially the pull factors influencing a destination. So that's what we're going to look at today. So, what is a tourist destination? Defining what actually constitutes a destination has been problematic, and there is no an agreed definition of the term. Since destinations motivate visits, they can be defined simply in terms of what they offer to tourists. But GAN in 1994 defined a destination zone as a geographic area containing a critical mass of development that satisfies travelers' objectives or tourist objectives or visitors' objectives. The term destination is being applied at a bewildering variety of spatial scales, ranging from a country to an individual attraction occupying a few acres. In this regard, we can take a whole country as a destination. For example, one may look at Namibia, the whole country, as a tourist destination, or one may look at Windhoek as a city as a tourist destination, or one may look at Walvis Bay or Swakop or Etosha National Park as a tourist destination on its own. So these destinations share a number of characteristics. One, a complex and multidimensional total tourism product based on a variety of natural, social, and cultural resources and services. So you're looking at within this destination, there should be a total tourism product. Or based on the natural resource or the social and cultural aspects and services within that destination. You also have other economic activities which may be complementary to or in conflict with tourism activities. So within a destination, definitely there will be other economic activities which support tourism activities. Others may also be in conflict of tourism activities. And there would usually also be a host community, which may be an integral element in the destination's attraction and which makes its own demands on the locality, its resources, and facilities. So, in this aspect you're looking at, you have a destination, let's say Windhoek City as a tourist destination. There are people living within Windhoek. In this regard, that's the host community. And this is an integral element in the destination attraction. And you're looking at the residents of Windhoek also make their own demands on the resources and facilities, which are also meant to be used by visitors or tourists to actually coming into Windhoek. You would also have an elected council or other public authority or authorities which can influence the destination's planning and management of its resources. In this regard, if we still take the example of Windhoek, we've got the City of Windhoek Council, which has got elected members who influence the planning and management of the resources, which we take as tourism resources within the city. You'd also have an active private sector, which also has got an important degree of involvement in the destination's planning and management. As the council makes decisions, they also take into consideration the input which comes from the private sector, be it within the tourism industry or the other industries. As you know, tourism is a multi-sectoral industry. So there are other sectors whose decisions or whose activities also have got an impact on what happens within the tourism industry. Now, let's look at a tourist area life cycle. It's an aspect which you might already have covered in your introductory course to tourism, but I want just to take you through that any tourist area or any destination goes through phases of development. As you can see in this graph, that shows visitor numbers and time. That you've got an exploration stage, involvement stage, development stage, consolidation, stagnation, and after stagnation, you've got rejuvenation or decline stage. So we'll go through all these stages of a tourist area life cycle or a destination area life cycle. So each destination goes through these stages. So we start with the exploration stage. Any destination or any tourist area, at first, it's hardly anyone knows about that particular place, and it has very few tourist facilities like hotels or restaurants. In most cases, these are few. The natural surroundings are mainly unspoiled, which is usually a major reason tourists are attracted to the area. Plants and animals native to the place are in abundance and are thriving. The local people usually earn their living in ways that are traditional to them and are not focused on tourism. So during the exploration stage, you've got very few tourists getting in there, very few hotels or tourist facilities, and the local people are not all that dependent on tourism. The next phase or the next stage is the involvement stage. Once a small number of tourists come to the location regularly or to the destination, local residents start a few tourist-related businesses. The local residents see a business opportunity, they see tourists coming into their area, so they start a few tourist-related businesses. You see small hotels, a few restaurants being built. You also have a taxi service getting started to get people to and from the airport. At this level, the numbers are still low. The destination is still unspoiled and relatively not well known. And after this stage, you move to what we call the development stage. Listen, when a destination is now becoming known, investors, being it local or international, and tourist-related companies get involved because they now start recognizing that they can make a good profit out of tourism or out of the tourists who now start visiting this destination or this tourist area. Now, as these companies continue investing, the local people are now being hired by these outsiders to tend to tourists, to start serving the tourists who are flocking to the area. In this regard, the control of the development in the area is no longer in the hands of its residents, just because we have got now people who have got money who are opening up businesses. It doesn't necessarily mean that the locals don't get involved, those who want to invest in tourism, but in most cases, you would see larger investors who are from outside that area, that region of that country coming to invest within that uh, tourist destination. You have got a building uh, boom starting up. That's why big hotels, restaurants, bars, and entertainment starting to transform the area into a one which is more or less centered on tourism. After this is done, you have got these developments, big companies have come up, built hotels, restaurant, bars. Now you get to the other stage, which is called the consolidation stage. And this is more or less a point of reckoning for a tourist destination. As now, just because the development has taken place, there are so many tourists coming to the country and so many tourist related businesses that the destination has more or less reached its capacity, meaning that if building and expansion continues, the area may suffer. Means if there is more growth, it may end up losing its qualities that made it a destination in the first place. That means unspoiled natural areas and a strong sense of local culture. Once there is more development coming in, that means youths that developers need to clear up the natural areas which were unspoiled, which people wanted to come and see the scenery, the vegetation, or whatever actually natural resources there which attracted them in the first place. And that strong sense of having a long culture with the development which was in there, if there will be further development, then definitely the destination can easily lose its identity. After this consolidation stage, you have got the stagnation stage. On this stage, if the tourist destination hasn't recognized that it has reached its limits during the consolidation stage, it becomes inescapably obvious in this phase. Some aspects of the destination will start showing signs of wear and tear, and many hotels can become run down just because actually the use is so high. You are still attracting more tourists, and the local environment gets polluted, and many other species, being of plants or animals, can no longer survive just because there is a lot of traffic getting into the destination. And it will only be tourists looking for package deals and inexpensive options who will still visit a destination at this phase. Just because at the stagnation stage, that the destination is no longer appealing to tourists. Just because you're looking at the local environment is deteriorating, it's polluted, and tourists don't see most of the species which they would love to have seen within the destination. So once a destination or a tourist area reaches this stage, it has more or less stagnated. So it will either decline, that means as you would see on the graph, it will either decline, or if good policies, good things are taken into consideration, you can actually kickstart the rise of the destination. So let's look at the decline. So we are saying a destination may enter the decline stage for many reasons. So one of them would be maybe you've been hit by a natural disaster that does irreparable damage. It will mean that actually your tourism will go down. Or there is competition from other tourist destinations. Just because your destination is more or less spoiled, is not all that appealing to other, and the competition is so much high, then definitely your destination will start declining. Or if you have got poor long-term planning and management, that means you never planned so well for your tourism development, you get to a stage whereby you start getting the negative effects of that poor long-term planning and your tourism destination starts declining. Or it can also decline for political and economic forces beyond a destination's control. There can be some other political issues or economic issues which can make a destination not to continue doing well and starts declining. So we are saying if a destination has entered the stagnation stage and no changes in management or strategic planning occur, decline becomes inevitable. So it means that tourist destination is no longer profitable and will either close up or turn into another type of business. The other aspect is maybe what can be done to avoid decline is to come up with strategies to rejuvenate the tourist area. So the main objective of any tourist destination is basically to continue to attract tourists and to stay profitable. But turning a destination around so that it once again thriving requires some radical changes. You have reached the stagnation stage. If you want to continue striving, that means some radical changes need to come. I'll give you a few examples. So one, instead of ignoring the surrounding community, a sustainable tourist destination must become fully integrated with the surrounding region and take local opinions and needs into account. So as you are developing your tourism product, make sure you involve the local communities, get their input. They should be part and parcel of the tourism development. Two, building has to be managed, and new resorts must not be built beyond a certain point, so that the number of people coming to a place supports it rather than damages it. Once you have got so many resorts, so many buildings, that means you definitely damage the environment, which attracts the tourists whom you want to get. The roads, the sewer systems, and water and energy supplies all need to be well maintained and should be adequate. And the other aspect is to make sure that actually the natural environment is restored and preserved. So it means that actually as you are developing, you also make sure that actually the natural environment, which is the major attraction for tourists in most countries, is restored and continues to be preserved so that actually tourists continue to get attracted to get to the destination. We have looked at the tourist area life cycle model, which gives you an idea on how a tourist destination develops. This is just a model. It has its own weaknesses, but it helps one to understand how tourism develops or how a destination develops. So what I would ask you now is, looking at Namibia, the whole country, as a tourism destination, on what phase do you think it is? And why do you think is on that phase or is on that stage? Or maybe look at the cost. You're looking at combining Walvis Bay and Swakop. Look at that as a tourism destination. In your assessment, on what phase would you take the cost to be on the tourist area life cycle? Or this is also called the Butler's tourist area life cycle model. On what stage these destinations are? Just try to think about that. As a model, the model has got its own weaknesses. It's more or less a resort model, right? Well, it's presented as if you only have one unit somewhere else or a few units in a very small area. And the progress through the life cycle is not inevitable. Furthermore, the visitor numbers are ambiguous measure of success. You cannot measure success only based on visitor numbers. So this model assumes that actually you do well in the tourism sector if the visitor numbers go up. But there are other factors which can affect success. And the tourist area is not an integrated product. So you're looking at the model more or less looks at the tourist area as not being as an integrated product. And the role of resources is neglected in all this model. There are several resources which are used in the development of a destination. You're looking at might be human, financial, or capital. All these are not incorporated in this model. Now, let's look at pull factors that influence a destination. What pull factors influence a destination? Then we'll discuss about 9 of these pull factors influencing a destination. One is geographical proximity to markets. A destination needs tourist visitors to come to it. So the markets, which you are saying, is that place where these customers, these tourists, these visitors come from. So one pull factor is that geographical proximity to a source market. There is an inverse relationship, or I should say an inverse relationship is likely to exist between the volume of traffic flowing from an origin region to a destination region and the distance between the two. So it's more or less saying that actually the shorter the distance between the region, the origin region and the destination region, the more the traffic. So the number of tourists from origin X to destination Y will decrease as the distance increases between X and Y, owing to higher transportation costs and longer travel times. This is known as a distance decay effect. It's cheaper to travel between Botswana and Namibia, between South Africa and Namibia, than it is to travel between or to travel from the USA to Namibia. So that's what this pull factor is all about. So you're looking at that geographical proximity influences one's choice of a destination. One, if you're talking about, if we are looking at a tourist. The other pull factor is accessibility to markets. On this factor, we're looking at structural accessibility and political accessibility. On structural accessibility, we're referring to the availability and quality of transportation linkages such as air routes, highways, and ferry links within transit regions, and of gateway facilities such as airports within a destination and origin regions. So you look at, do you have the transportation linkages between the origin region of the tourist and the destination region? Do you have flights between the source market and the destination? Do you have the right highways? Do you have the airports close to the destination or within the destination to facilitate movement of people. And the other accessibility to the markets looks at the political aspects. That's the political accessibility. That's looking at the conditions under which visitors are allowed entry into a destination. Is it easier for a German nation to come and visit Namibia? Is it easier for a Chinese nation or a Chinese tourist to come and visit Namibia? How easy is it for a South African tourist to be allowed entry into Namibia as a destination? That's just an example. So all these conditions you're looking at on these conditions for one to be allowed entry into a destination. If we take a destination as a country, then you're looking at the visa conditions. How easy is it for a tourist to get into a destination? In this case, we're using the example of Namibia. Does little one need a visa? If one maybe doesn't really need a visa, that means that the accessibility is much better to the person who need to apply for a visa and pay for it. Or in some other cases, you'd say one needs a visa, but that person can easily get that visa on the point of entry. Or does one really need to get that visa while he or she is still in his country of origin or not? The third pull factor is availability of services in the destination. So looking at availability of hotels, restaurants, visitor bureaus, and all the other specialized support services. Do we or does the destination have the services? These also act as pull factors. The other factor has to do with availability of attractions. These be pre-existing or created attractions. We're looking at the natural attractions or man-made attractions. Do you have these attractions within a destination? Just because once tourists make a decision to visit a destination, they certainly have certain attractions in mind. To say, all right, we're getting to this destination just because we want to get to attraction X, Y, Z within the destination. So do you have attractions, the right attractions available within a destination? The other factor has to do with cultural and spiritual links. Similarities in culture, language, and religion also exert a powerful influence in some types of tourism. It becomes easier for tourists to visit a destination where they know their culture and the culture of the people in that destination are a little bit similar, or the language is similar, or the religion is similar. It makes them a little bit feel more or less at home. They have got some aspect to relate with the host community. So that can also act as a pull factor. One wouldn't want to get into a country where or into a destination where it's going to struggle to communicate with the hosts. So language or religion or similarities in culture exert that powerful influence in pulling up tourists to a specific destination. The other factor is affordability. So looking at all the other factors being equal, reductions in cost generate increased tourist traffic to a destination. Each and every person would want to spend less on their actual tourist activities. So if a destination is affordable, that means the affordability of the services, the products within that destination make it to attract more tourists. The other pull factor is peace, stability, and safety. The tourist market is so sensitive to any suggestion of social or political instability within a destination. That's beyond the macro level forces of war, unrest, and terrorism. Destination viability is affected by the extent to which tourists perceive a place to offer a high level of personal safety in terms of everyday health and well-being. So the peace and stability and safety of a destination acts as also a very big pull factor. A tourist will want to visit a destination which is peaceful, which is safe. Every person will want to be in a safe environment. The other pull factor is the positive market image. In this, we're looking at image as the sum of beliefs, attitudes, and impressions held by a person or a group of people towards some phenomenon. So you look at, as a destination, what market image does that destination really have? Do people look at that destination as a good destination or a bad destination? So you're looking at the beliefs or attitudes or impressions which people have to a particular destination can also be a pull factor. If there are people who are always talking good about a particular destination, making recommendations, definitely you are building a positive market image. So that positive market image, which is more or less, which can be descriptive or evaluative, pulls other potential tourists to make decisions to visit that destination. The other pull factor can be pro-tourism policies. The pull effect of a destination can be positively influenced by the introduction and the enforcement of pro-tourism policies. Having awareness campaigns among local people to promote a welcoming attitude towards tourists. If a country has good policies which encourage people to understand what tourism is all about, where they take part, and they develop that welcoming attitude towards tourists, that means that helps in also building that positive market image we've been talking about. So that will act as a pull factor on its own. So we are saying, or we have looked at several pull factors, one being the geographical proximity to markets, two, accessibility to markets, three, availability of services in the destination, four, availability of attractions, five, the cultural and spiritual rings, six, affordability of the products and amenities within the destination, seven, peace, stability, and safety. That's another pull factor. Eight, the positive market image of the destination. And lastly, the ninth pull factor being the pro-tourism policies, which a destination develops as a whole. So these are some of the pull factors that influencing a destination or that influence the success of a destination. Now, based on this session, I'd like to give you two assignments. These are individual assignments which you need to do. I'll also send them over to you and post them on the e-learning platform. The first assignment is due on the 5th of June. Basically, what I would want you to do is to rank the following destination countries, beginning with the one that you would most like to visit for a week vacation, ending with the one that you would be least interested in visiting for a week vacation. So I've given you 5 countries: South Africa, Angola, USA, Germany, and Thailand. Your region of origin in this regard is Namibia, right? You are a Namibian tourist in this regard. So you've been given that opportunity to visit these countries for a week. So you're being asked to rank these 5 destination countries. Which one do you want to visit first, second, third, fourth, and fifth? And give the reasons for your rankings. And in each ranking, refer each case to each of the pull factors discussed in this topic. What really making you that? What has really pulled you to say rank the countries as you have done? For example, if you have ranked them in the way I've represented here to say 1 is South Africa, 2 is Angola, 3 is USA, 4 is Germany, 5 is Thailand. Why? Using the pull factors, the 9 pull factors we have discussed in this topic. Why are you ranking South Africa first? So that's the first assignment. This assignment is due on the 5th of June. The second assignment, this is also an individual assignment. What I want you is to discuss how each of the 9 pull factors, which we have just discussed in this topic, apply to Namibia as a tourism destination. So look at Namibia as a tourism destination. How you apply the 9 pull factors? Okay. How does the catch-one special rings really apply as a pull factor for Namibia as a tourist destination? How does issues to do with affordability apply to Namibia as a tourism destination? What about looking at issue to do with accessibility to markets, issue to do with geographical proximity to markets? How do all these 9 pull factors which we have just discussed apply to Namibia as a tourism destination? So this assignment is due on the 12th of June. If you've got any questions, please use the right channels and communicate to me, and then we'll take it up from there. I'm wishing you all the best in these 2 individual assignments. Thank you.